Hey everyone, welcome to my second Ramble video. I got really positive feedback on the first one, and that was pretty motivating to make another one. I thought I was being like way too judgmental in it, and I had wanted to take it down, and I had shared it with a few people, and they're like, no, it's fine. So I just I left it up, and a lot of people liked it, and that made me feel good. So I decided to make the second one here. Um, I'm actually doing it 6 hour right now. It's not going to be the best 6 hour, but sorry if there's going to be any like pauses in my speech or not very good flow in the way I'm talking. So I'll probably be focusing on the mining more than talking as best as I can. Um, so I have a few topics I want to cover, but I guess we'll do a quick update first. I hit 130 mil mining last night, and it shouldn't be too much longer until I finish. And then I think my current plans right now is to do Hunter and Herbler next. Maybe not to 200 mil, but I'll probably be focusing on those two skills. So with the last video, a meme was born that was called The Wall, and there were a lot of really good Twitter memes about it. The wall that I had talked about in my first video was the idea of having like nothing but the slow skills left to do or the difficult skills, and then I called it a wall because like uh, well, I don't know, it's kind of a imaginative idea, if you could say that. Uh, yeah, it's like this scary big wall that you have to climb of nothing but difficult skills. But then it was being kind of memed back at me like that there's a viable wall, and then I had to talk to people like Omar and Karma, uh, and get their actual ideas because they're just saying like the viable wall is more difficult than the gathering wall, and like there are arguments for both. And the idea with the viable wall is that um, making the money for all the Bibles is more difficult than all the gatherers, and it definitely can be. I know money is a big issue for a lot of people, and it's pretty fair to think that money is the most difficult sort of aspect of 200 mil all, because yeah, you are going to be spending most of your time on RuneScape, like trying to make money on the side in any way that you really can. So that's kind of what the Bible wall was, and um, there's a lot of good Twitter banter about it. I loved all of it. Uh, None of it was really serious because, um, yeah, we're all friends who are doing it. It was good fun. Uh, okay, there's this thing I learned about somewhat recently, and that's called the imposter syndrome. That really got me thinking, and it was really interesting to learn about. Um, Imposter syndrome is kind of the idea that you have tricked people into thinking you're better than that than okay, restart that. It's the idea that you've tricked people into thinking that you are better than you actually are. What I mean by that is I'm often very self-critical on like my mining rates and like my day record, or even not being able to do as good of a 6 hour as I wanted. Um, but still people think like the day is pretty good and like the 6 hour is amazing, but it's like it's hard for me to accept those compliments because I've always been so self-critical. uh, I had like an hour long talk with Vior about this, and we were both finding it pretty interesting. uh, it's not like a disease or anything, imposter syndrome. It's just like this weird feeling that you get if it's almost like the quarterback of the high school football team is like the best in the state, right? And all of a sudden he has like nobody else to really look up to in his like sort of league. Like of course you look up to the NFL, but um, he's got no one around him that he can look up to, but everyone looks up to him, and he may think that he's not actually that good, and that people are almost tricked into thinking that he's really good. And then so with all this, it kind of gives a feeling that you're not doing good enough. But the thing is, I think everybody can be way too self-critical, and you kind of just gotta let that go. Um, like I'm not saying you should start bragging about any achievements. I know I have in the past, but I usually try not to. I know my Twitter is often kind of a cocky attitude, but I don't, I'm not quite like that. I think I'm fairly nice to everybody and accepting, but um, what was I trying to say? So with the imposter syndrome and RuneScape, you're often going to be really self-critical to yourself when you don't. There's no reason to be, and you shouldn't ever be putting yourself down for not being able to match what someone else is able to do. Like if you look up to somebody and you're trying to do what they're doing, but you can't quite do it, you should never be negative towards yourself about that. Like that's just gonna backfire and not work very well. Trying to think if there was anything else with the imposter syndrome. Um, can't quite remember, but another thing I wanted to talk about is how to like stick to a skill better. As in, a lot of people are so wrapped up in efficiency that they will almost force themselves to skill hop if they're doing something like mining and fishing, or yeah, really any of the gatherers where yeah, you're not going to get max rates the whole time that you're. Wow, I'm missing a lot of ticks here. You're going to be you're not going to be able to maintain max rates if you do like all the gatherers or like rune crafting all day long. That's just kind of how it is. But I almost think it's worse to take agility breaks. Um, like, sure, if your hand is physically hurting, then yeah, you probably should be doing agility breaks or doing agility quite a bit. But I don't know, I almost don't think it's worth it in terms of trying to make you stick to a skill better. Um, if you're trying to stick to a really long skill, you kind of have to let go of the idea of being efficient the entire time. Um, like I don't do very many agility breaks anymore. I kind of just have this feeling where when I'm on my computer, the thing I'm doing is mining, and I don't care if I'm getting bad rates if I'm like surfing the web or trying to read stuff on the side. Like it doesn't really bother me, and I feel like you have to get to that point where it's just part of your routine. Like I think Ging and Trickle really got to that point pretty early on in RuneScape, uh, where it doesn't really matter how good they're doing, like in terms of XP rates. It's just that's just what they're doing on the game, and that's just part of their daily routine now is to like go do reindeer hat fishing all day long, and doesn't really matter if they get a worse rate than like say Herbtar or Cuddy. Um, that kind of goes with the idea. I don't think I've ever talked. No, I didn't talk about it, but you have to find a good balance between being efficient and playing a lot. Because if you're forcing yourself to, or also being like so self-critical that you always want to get the highest rates possible, that's gonna, I don't know, it just makes it so difficult for you to stay at that skill. Like all of a sudden, if I drop below 120k an hour mining, um, I don't care, but I feel like other people might. They're like all of a sudden almost worried that they're not getting 1-to-1 EHP, and all of a sudden they're gonna like wanna maybe take an agility break. I know that's below EHP, but you know what I mean. Like take a break from mining and then come back to it when they can get max rates again. I don't know. I feel like if you really want to lock yourself into a skill, a long skill, and do it straight to 200 mil, you really do have to let go of like your overall efficiency. Um, if you get too lenient with breaks and everything, all of a sudden you're going to be spending way too much time not doing what your goal actually is. Like sure, I may be getting less EHP per day than I would if I did agility breaks like every hour or even like 2 hours or something, but that's okay. It's just part of my routine now that I just mine, and it's okay if I get bad rates. And I guess that kind of ties in with the idea of the gathering wall. And if you're so macro efficient where it's like you don't want to take time away from RuneScape to go get more water or to like eat normal foods, like you only eat like easy to eat foods or like no preparation, like bread or crackers or dry cereal. I don't know. It's like I don't think you have to go that far to be efficient. I feel like that could just backfire and just make the game harder for yourself. Like, sure, you'll get really good like records and everything, and people will find that really amazing. But I don't know. To me, that's making the game way too hard. Um, let's see. Talked about this with Brad before, where I just asked him, like, even though he's not really in the community as much, but I asked him, like, does it seem like mining is easy for me, like in terms of just the hours I'm doing and just sticking to it? And he had said no, but that's because he had seen me like tweeting out like burnt. I was doing the thing where you type out burnt with the H's between every letters, like what Senz's name was that one time. Um, I was never, yeah, I've never actually been burnt from mining. I had a rocky start to it, but yeah, I've never been burnt from it since like 38 mil. I've done it straight. But what I was trying to say with that is, I shouldn't even have brought up Bragg 'cause he's not supporting my point here. But I had asked other people, like, do I make mining seem easy to stick to? And they're saying yes. And then that's what kind of helped my idea of the imposter syndrome, because it's almost like I've tricked them into thinking that mining is easy to stick to. And in reality, like in the past, it was not at all easy to stick to. Like I had wanted to quit every single day, like all the way up until maybe 80 mil or something. I had, I don't know, I was like just at arty like for half of my time. Um, I was really not enjoying mining, but it was almost like I didn't want to let people down, and so I just kept sticking to it as best as I could. And then I I stopped doing agility breaks, not because I found mining itself like easier in terms of just all the clicking. It's like I just let go of the idea of trying to be as efficient as I could. And so instead of taking agility breaks, I just settle for slightly lower mining rates, but it's literally just made it easier for me to just stay here all day long. Um, yeah, so what were my main points in terms of sticking to skill? I guess I said in my first Ramble video as well, but just try to do things that make the game easier for yourself. Like, and it's pretty much all a mental thing, not really physical, because there's no way around like making mining actually easier unless you start cheating. So it's all just a mental thing. Um, uh, that I guess that wraps it up. Uh, Current plans with mining, I'm gonna go for a big month. I can't guarantee I'll get it, but I have the opportunity to, so that's all that really matters, and I'll try to use it the best I can. But even with that, I'm not gonna go all out. Uh, I'll still be doing like little bits of agility. I'll still be doing like Nightmare Zone when I find a time to. Uh, Also started farming again. It's kind of nice to get back into doing that. I'll hit Yeah, I'll hit 100 mil relatively soon. 15 minutes, alright. That's pretty good. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, bye.